I'm Mersiha Smailovic. I'm a human rights activist and a lawyer. I live and I was born in Skopje, North Macedonia. For a long years, we are working on the refugee and migration issue. And here we start the debate in the morning from the 91 and etc. But related to the refugee and migration, I will just switch many years upfront. 2015, the Balkan was in the huge wave of the migration route. It was a part of the so-called Balkan route when the millions of refugees passed through the Balkan country, coming from Greece to Macedonia, Serbia, and then the routes changed somehow. One time it was through Hungary, then Bosnia and Croatia. Now still Bosnia is on the route again and facing the problematic policy that the EU country had. So since 2015, we were all basically 14, we were on the same line telling to the Balkan country that they have to improve the asylum system, that this asylum system is weak. And when we speak about EU membership, the last session before we were speaking about the injustice that like Macedonia is facing with Greece, Bulgaria, all other things. But if you read carefully, the European Commission every year that they are giving the report, there is a same debate of each. It's the corruption problematic on the Balkan country, but for us, it's always problematic asylum and migration. EU Commission always mentioned that Macedonia has to improve the asylum system. Macedonia has to improve the migration issue. Macedonia has to fulfill the human rights criteria when we are speaking about the refugee and migration. So it's 7 years how we are lobbying and launching and changing the system of asylum in our country. And now, unfortunately, the Ukrainians who are coming in our country are facing the lack of the system of protection that we have. So I will have a short presentation because I believe that the debate will be more interesting to discuss, because we are coming from the ground, speaking about human stories, speaking about individuals who flee war, fleeing persecution, fleeing all the debate that we have during the day, and now coming in the Balkans, and many obstacles that you cannot even imagine that they are facing. So I will speak about data because we are also part of some regional platforms together. Especially, we have a huge cooperation with an organization from Serbia because we are a neighborhood country and facing the migration together. So this is like very disappointing numbers, that the number of arrivals are similar to the number of the people who left the Balkans, especially Macedonia and Serbia. And the people who are asking for asylum or temporary protection is very few, and because they can enter in our countries, Serbia and Macedonia, with their passports and stay there for 3 months as a tourist. So imagine you've been a tourist to the different places and you know your rights, you know your limitation, you don't have access to health, you don't have access to integration. So basically being a tourist in this country, that you have a money to deal with all the challenges that you have during the day. So in Macedonia, we have now 353 Ukrainians who have a temporary residence. This is very problematic. They have a subsidiary protection for 1 year. That means that they don't have access to the labor market. They are living in our country with very small amount of money that the government is giving to them. So they cannot have enough money for accommodation. If they want to be accommodated in the Center for Asylum Seekers, there is a place there. And the Center for Asylum Seekers is somehow on the end of our capital city, so you don't have normal bus transportation and etc. It's a problematic place. Also in Serbia, they adopt better solution. They have temporary residence, so they can also apply. They can apply for job even they have temporary residence. In Macedonia, they are subsidiary and protection for 1 year. After 1 year, they have to renew all their documents again. So imagine you have to show that like the government is not watching news and the war has finished somehow and everything is back in reality. Just because I didn't have a chance to speak in the beginning, also Macedonia show a huge support to the Ukrainian people. Macedonian member, chief of parliament, he went directly in Ukraine and visit and spoke with the politicians there. They also sent equipment, and us as an organization, we set a humanitarian assistance. So all the people, no matter the disinformation and Russian influence, still has a huge support to the Ukrainian people in Ukraine. But when we speak about the legal system, when we speak about the practice, when you want to see that support in the daily life of the Ukrainians, something is missing. So these are the civil society corrective. So like I mentioned, they have now the current situation is subsidiary protection. Only 4 people asked for asylum because we also are part of some Dublin process. If you ask asylum in Macedonia, you cannot ask asylum in other EU countries. So if you want to, they're staying here for 3 months. You're not allowed to have a health insurance. Still, some benefits of the pandemic that we had children from Ukraine goes remotely to school, online education. They're still in the education system of Ukraine. If they are small children, they start going to school. So we sometimes speak with the Ukrainians who are there even previously before the war. If you want to go to the kindergarten, you have to show a document that your child has been vaccinated. That's the law in Macedonia. So even they ask a vaccination chart from the Ukrainian children, like, have you been vaccinated? And they say, yeah, but our hospital is bombed. I cannot go back. I just flee war. Do you understand what is a refugee? So we didn't learn the lessons from 91. We had the refugees from Bosnia, we had the refugees from Kosovo, we had the Balkan, we were part of the Balkan route, but still Macedonia has the fragile system when we speak about asylum and we speak about protection. And we didn't stop speaking about it, and we will continue, and we will use this situation and the open support that Macedonia shows to Ukraine just to have the improved system that we can show solidarity and protection for each person who is in our country. So like I mentioned, Serbia has a better solution, but still, they're managing to find. There's some of them are go through the employment agency, have the trying to have their employment status regulated. Through them, they will have they will have legal status to stay in their country. We tried that in Macedonia. Ukrainians who has some, they apply for job, they receive the job, but when we go through the system to have this working permit that will last for 1 year, we find obstacles that every foreigner finds in the country. And you cannot change the mainstream of the people that they are coming from Ukraine. It's a war. You cannot treat like it's a German who wants to work in Macedonia and etc. So definitely a lot of obstacles. And I was very happy that we're trying as an NGO to solve and to make a cooperation, because in Macedonia and Serbia and Bosnia, we have these networks about refugees and migrants that we cooperate since 2015. But this is a new issue. That's how it's in the agenda. It's not only the refugee issue and protection. It's very complicated, and we need all the actors in our society just to make it working. So what is the main challenge that we see now if you want to welcome and we speak with the organization, we have the organization of Ukrainians who is settled in Macedonia for many years. The biggest problem is the legal status that will provide rights to them. They want to work, they want to integrate. They are working people who doesn't want just to stay and wait for the war to finish. They want to be productive citizens in the country where they live. So limited protection, it's only for 1 year. And if you come in one country and you ask protection, it's a bunch of documents. You are facing your psychological moment explaining to the civil servant next to you, why did you flee the war? What did you left? And imagine to have this every year. You left your family, and we are praying, we hope that the war will finish and the aggression will finish soon, but still it's not finishing a moment for them for 1 year to have a protection in the country. You want to settle, you want to find apartment, job, and you have to do it, renew every year. They're not entitled to health insurance. In the moment when we are speaking now, the Ukrainians who are in Macedonia for 3 months, they don't have health insurance until they ask for subsidiary protection. If they ask subsidiary protection, they cannot work. If they want to work, they have to ask for a working permit. If they want to ask for a working permit, the government is not allowing them. And it's this last months of meetings with UNHCR, IOM, with the government is being so depressing, because you see their support giving with politicians on high level, it's not functioning on the low level. So it's definitely a process that it will last. also the right to education, especially to the older children. There's two official languages in our country, which is Macedonian and Albanian. So if you want to go to the educational system, you have to do it on the two languages, Macedonian or Albanian. And there is no extra classes if you don't know these languages. So if you are fifth grade and you want to go to study, to go to school in Macedonia, you will directly go to Macedonian language, and the school will not provide you extra classes on Macedonian language. If they provide you, if we lobby for it, you will do it on the breaks. So you will not go with the kids to play, and you will stay and to learn Macedonian. It's like a punishment. You don't deserve to go outside and play volleyball or basketball. You will stay here and learn Macedonian or Albanian, depends on the municipality where you choose to live. So definitely education, health, employment, it's most important thing for each person when you want, even us, when you want to travel, to explore, to live in other city. That's the most important things you want to provide for yourself and for your family. And unfortunately, the Balkan countries are facing these obstacles. Like I mentioned, Serbia has better solution because also during the last 7 years, they integrated more, they give more asylum to the people from Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, depends on who want it. But Macedonia is a 0 rate of asylum application accepted. And it's mentioned in European Commission report. So speaking about Bulgaria, Greece, sometimes is being tired because we have many obstacles on our way to the European Union integration. And definitely it's a challenge to make a platform, the regional platform for non-governmental organizations. So I believe that this is a huge step and very relieved for us that we can share the experience that our Ukrainian friends are facing in the Balkans in hope, and we are in hope that we will push together more integration policy and we will make the asylum system to work better and to be improved. So that's how I just prepared short intro. I believe sometimes I want to be more positive and to come with more positive stories, but unfortunately, Balkan is always some resilience, some fights and some negotiation with the government, how to improve, how to make our system better. So you're all welcomed in our country to come to see and to discuss. We are sending our support as organization with them. So we are on the daily basis with them, providing humanitarian assistance, but also free legal aid because it's something that it's also needed. But we also send our support to the Ukrainian people directly in Ukraine. But from words, we need practice, but from the high level, from the governmental level, to show their support, changing the laws as much as they can and fast as they can to adopt the new challenges that as a world we are facing and unfortunately as a country we are facing. Thank you very much.